Hi everyone. Right now I was going to show you our family's top 10 and I couldn't eliminate a last one, so this is the McRae top 11 favorites. First one is Look Inside Food. This book is so cool. The Look Inside series are my favorite. They're a little bit small, or medium size, they're not tiny. And they have all these little tiny flaps inside. And they talk about really cool subjects. There's one about space, there's a whole bunch of different ones, and the flaps are so creatively done that it shows you how things work. There's just tons of the flaps on these. Some of them have little spinning wheels, things like that. But this one about food is my favorite because it actually goes through lots of aspects of big agriculture where, you know, we go to the grocery store and our children know that we go to buy bread, but in this book it actually teaches them this is how we grow the wheat, this is how we turn it into the bread. This is where fruit comes from, this is where milk comes from, there's the inside of a cow, and lots of information to read. This is how they sort the eggs. Isn't that cool? There's so much information for our little readers about real life things. We don't hold anything back, and I love that. And then this one, it even has, you know, this is where our sweet foods come from. This is where ice cream comes from. This is sugar. Sugar grows in a plant. Who knows that, you know? Lots of fascinating facts for our young readers. And this page talks about all about nutrition and a balanced meal and things like that. And there's just all these awesome little things. I think there's some food in my food book. It's kind of sticky and very sturdy apparently. So the Look Inside books are my favorites. They're so cool. There's flaps, there's double flaps, there's all kinds of fun things in there. Next one is The Big Book of Little Stories. This is a really cool book. It has, let me show you, it has a whole bunch of stories in there. And what I love about it is that they're very short, so it has a good reading speed for young readers who are maybe just starting to sit through storybooks, just past board book stage. And the nice thing is that the style, the font, and the illustrations change with each story. So your child knows now we've moved on to a different story, and so it kind of teaches them the sequence of reading through a book. There's some classics in here like Wind in the Willows and some other stories that I've never heard before. It also has a little ribbon bookmark, which is kind of fun and fancy. A little fabric binding there. So this is a really beautiful book, definitely a favorite in our house. Often it is the chosen bedtime story. This is one of our mid-season titles, newest ones that have been released. This is Olga Topolga. And Olga Topolga is written by Michael Bond, who was the author of Paddington Bear, who we all know. And look how cute she is. And I just love this book. I've done a couple highlights on it before. And I love the inside the cover. There's this adorable illustration. I found it on accident, didn't know it was there. But this story, it's a kind of like a chapter book, and it's newly illustrated. It was originally published in the 70s, and so this is reimagined for Usborne. And I'll just show you some of the adorable illustrations. And this story is about Olga Topolga, who is a little guinea pig who has lots and lots of personality. She's adopted by a little girl named Karen. She calls them the Sawdust People because they bring the sawdust to her home. So Karen Sawdust adopted her, and this is her story about her little adventures living with all the different animals who she finds in the neighborhood that live outside of her little cage, and how she loves to tell them larger than life stories. And she has a huge imagination, and she's perky and quirky and fun, and this is a laugh out loud read. We've been reading it before bed and it's so much fun. Next is our Secrets of the Apple Tree. There's a whole series of these, Secrets of Winter, Secrets of the Seashore, so there's several of these, definitely check them out. These are awesome because you use them with a flashlight, or you can use a window, but obviously all little children love flashlights, so this is a huge hit. Now the way that this works is you'll see that there's a picture and it'll ask you a question. And then when you shine your light through the page, then a picture appears. So, you know, who's hiding under the ground? And there you see the little worms. Who's hiding under these leaves? And under there, there's a frog. And then when you turn the page, you get to read a little bit more about the frog. So these are really, really fun. And then at the end, there's a little bit more information so your child can read more if they're super curious about what they talked about. And I love this one in particular because it encourages your children to get outside after they've read it and to look into the little spaces to find what kind of critters could be living in their own backyard. And I just absolutely love that about this book. These are really, really magic. And so much fun. Every child loves playing with a flashlight, so I highly suggest one of these for your home library. Every kid is going to love them. Here's a good one. Everyone Poops. This is one of our, I think, one of our best Kane Miller titles. It's kind of silly. I think a lot of people have heard of it, and it made my husband and I a little uncomfortable the first time that we read it. But this book was a game changer for potty training in our family, for our daughter. And she was terrified about pooping in the potty, and as soon as we got this book, I have a picture of her. The day that we brought this book home, the day that it came to our door, she was hugging it. She walked around the house hugging it. And when we would read it, she'd see, oh, fish poop, and she'd run to the fish tank and check to see if the fish were pooping. And this helped her get over her fear of going in the potty. And so it's kind of quirky, kind of weird, but absolute. I highly suggest this for anyone who's going through potty training phase. She literally walked around the house carrying this everywhere she went for several weeks until she finally learned how to potty. And so I love this book. Definitely one of my top ones. This is 1,000 Animals. We also have 1,000 Things That Go, 1,000 Things to Eat. And you can see that the pages are kind of like a cardstock, so they're very heavy and sturdy for little hands. But this has just pictures of animals with their names. And so your child can just pore over this. And they have a little, you know, a little heading about what category is this. There's black and white animals, stripes and spots animals, bugs, and you can just see how gorgeous these are. My daughters will sit with this together and go through it. They'll watch science TV, and then they look to see if they can find the animals that they saw. And so this is a good conversation piece with your children, good to get them wondering about the world, good to follow up after you've gone to the zoo or a museum or something like that. So this is just a really, really cool book. I was kind of confused about how I would use it when I got it, but we look at this almost every single day and we just talk, and it's wonderful. And in the back there's an index of all the creatures, and there are 1,000 animals in here. Very, very cool. Next is the Big Books of Big. These are awesome. I have to back up from my camera to show you this. There's a whole collection of these. If you host a party with me, you can get a 65% off coupon to get the entire collection for 65% off. And so these are a huge hit. You can see how gorgeous the watercolor pictures are. And there's little tiny blurbs of information, so your young reader won't get overwhelmed by reading big paragraphs. And then you can see this kind of index kind of thing, and then you fold open these pages and you just get these huge, huge pictures. And I love this when you have siblings who are still learning how to share. This book is big enough that they can sit next to each other and read it together without fighting over it. So you can see how awesome these are. They're so fun. And all those little bite-sized chunks of information. My daughter and I will go through these books. We'll pick out the biggest, weirdest creature, and then we'll look it up on YouTube and see, so that we can see it in real life. And that's one of our bedtime routines for slowing down, getting ready for bed, is we'll pick out one of these animals. There's also bugs. There's also sea creatures, Big Book of Big Animals. And so we love looking up the big bugs and seeing people holding them in their hands. Look how big they are. And, you know, these things, we see them in our books, but they are real. And kids kids just love the bigness of the book. It's just so much fun. Next is our question and answers. This is question and answers about your body. And this is my #1 top seller. I sell this out first anywhere that I go. It has flaps, which is awesome for your wiggly readers who have a hard time sitting still. And I love the inside the flaps are fully illustrated. So each flap has a question. Where do my ideas come from? Your brain inside your head. Your brain is where you think, feel, imagine, and understand. And then there's this really fun picture to look at. And it has all those questions. How does food turn into poop? Why is my blood red? Why do I yawn when I'm tired? And it goes through how, what, when, why. When will I grow a beard? Things like that. Really, really fun. All those real questions that kids have about. Sometimes we don't know how to answer them. Another favorite, See Inside Your Body. This is my other, probably #2 top seller. Once again, all those questions about our body. This is another flap book with illustrations inside the flaps. Really, really awesome. This was our other favorite book for when we were working on potty training because you get to see them eat the apple and you get to look inside the body all the way down to where the poop comes out. And so this is very real information. Sometimes a little awkward to talk about, and the books really help with that. So there's lots of awesome questions in here. My daughter was afraid of this page because she got freaked out talking about blood, but now she can talk about it, and she likes looking at the flaps and seeing how scabs are made, and seeing all those cool pictures inside. So these are really, really cool See Inside series. Really, really awesome. Highly suggest that one as well. And this is my last favorite, the Lift the Flap word book. Is really, really cool for your little ones. It literally just has a grid of words with the picture, and then right over here you can find the picture and you see the word. And so this is really awesome word association. I highly suggest this for anyone who has children with delayed speech, or they're just working on those sight words. Very, very cool. So here's all the pictures and then the words, and you can match them up. And so there's tons of flaps on every page. This is very, very, very cool book. Now, top 11. This is my pick, the last 13. I've been reading this series about the entire thing. There are 13 books in this series, and it's super fun. It's like X-Men, Harry Potter, really super science savvy, but also very adventurous. So this is an awesome, awesome series for your young readers. Hi, Juliet. For your teens or for moms as family reader alouds, totally suggest this one. It's really a fun adventure. And Juliet wants to show you all the Pocket Patterns coloring book because she likes this one. Thanks for watching.